Hey guys, Papa Dan here again, and I just want to thank everybody that has commented on our last video on the new shop cards. You guys aren't helping matters any, really. Caleb had a big head before, and now with all your comments, he's got an even bigger head. So, anyways, hey, we're on wiggly wobbly mode, and the reason for that is, as you can see, I've got the dock in place and I got the Cessna in place, and I wanted to show you a couple of things before I set the camera up to show you how I'm going to finish off the waves here. And I wasn't real sure that you'd be able to see it with the camera up a little bit higher so that you can watch. You know what I'm saying. Anyways, in the process of putting I put 5 coats of this Mod Podge on here, and it looks really, really good. I mean, I hope the camera will pick up the depth that it's showing. Now you'll notice if the camera picks it up, but especially up here along the edge in this area here, you know, where it's kind of like almost like it's fogged a little bit. What that is from is that very first coat that I put on, where I brushed it on with the foam brush, and then it sat for a little while, and then I came back and did the dabbing with the mop brush. Well, that's what caused this like fogging effect here, because what was on there previous wasn't dry completely yet, and then I added another coat on top of it. But it actually, I think, worked out to my advantage, because I kind of like the way that looks. I mean, it kind of gives it like a little bit of a foam-like look to the water. So I actually like that. I'm not disappointed in that at all. But it's very, very glossy. There is a lot of depth to it, and like I said, it's 5 coats that's put on there. And one thing that I'll mention real quick is, when you're using your mop brush, the last time you saw me doing it, I was bringing the brush up and down like this. You don't want to do that. What I found happening in subsequent coats was that by doing this, you get a lot more air bubbles in it. What you want to do is dip this into your Mod Podge and get quite a bit of it on your brush, and then up and down, but don't actually leave the surface, if that makes sense, and spread it around that way. And you want to try and leave it thick. You don't want to spread it out too thin, because then you're just going to have to put more coats on it. If you leave it thick, then you'll be all right. So just kind of up and down, but do not bring it like this, because that's what adds a lot of air bubbles to it. And air bubbles don't look good. What happens is when it dries, it leaves like little craters where the air bubble will pop, and then it'll leave like a little crater in your water. It's easily taken care of, because your next coat you can come through and make sure that you fill it up again. But just, you know, it's easier if you don't have the air bubbles. So what I wanted to point out to you real quick, and then we'll get started here with how I'm going to finish off the waves and everything. in putting the 5 coats of this on, and as thick as this was, it kind of changed the holes that I had cut for the pontoons. And if you can see there, I've got quite a good sized gap now where it's not fitting in the hole the same way it was before we started all this. And the same with the dock. I had to actually cut some of these holes again to get the pylons from the dock, to get them to actually go into the styrofoam again. Now there are a couple of spots where it's where the hole's a little bigger than what it was, or where there's a little bit of damage done around the edge, but that's all right, because I'm going to show you how to fix that so you won't even know it's there. So okay, let me get this camera set up, and then we'll get started here. I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, we are back, and actually this is Thursday now. I started this video yesterday while the shop card video was uploading, and we got such a huge response. It was just unbelievable. Caleb and I couldn't believe how big the response was. In fact, these are all cards that are addressed and stamped, and they're ready to go. I got to take these to the post office today, and that's just from yesterday's response. So Caleb and I want to thank you very, very much. In fact, it was kind of funny. I was having Caleb sign his cards, and he comes up with, well, if I'm the star of the channel, shouldn't I have somebody signing these for me? I looked, I didn't know what to say. I just looked at him and I shook my head, and I finally said, no, you're not that big of a star. I said, even movie stars sign their own autographs, so look at it that way. You're giving everybody an autograph. So, alrighty, let's get this on the road, show on the road here. Alright, now, like I showed you yesterday, I do have some gaps around here, and I'm going to show you how to fill those in. And what I use is this stuff right here. It's Golden Artist Colors. It's a gloss heavy gel, and our artists use this a lot to put texture in their paints, in their paintings. They mix it with their paints, and then when they're painting on the canvas, it'll actually add texture. If you were to use it just the way it comes out of the jar, it is white inside of there. I mean, it's just like snow white, but when it dries, it will dry clear, crystal clear. This is what I used on the Titanic. So what I'm going to do, and it's really thick. I mean, I'll show you here. You can see I got some there on the stick, and it will not come off the stick. So I mean, it is really thick. So we're going to take a little bit of this, and we're just going to put it down inside of a cup here. Then, since that dries clear, and what we want to do is to kind of simulate like white caps, waves. Now we're not looking, you know, this is a lake scene, so we're not looking for hurricane-sized waves here or anything. So we're just going to make some small. Now a lot of times what guys will do is they'll just use some white paint and just dry brush the top of the waves here and go around. But since we've actually got some holes that we need to fill here so that they're not so visible, that's why we're going to use the heavy gel. And actually with the heavy gel you can actually form the top of the wave, because what you can do is put a little bit on, let that dry, put a little more on, let it dry, and build it up. So you could actually, if you wanted to, say like if you're doing something out in an ocean with a battleship or aircraft carrier, like what I'm going to be doing later on down the road, you could actually form the white cap, you know, rounding over like that with this gel. So we're just going to add just a little bit of white paint. I'm going to make sure we get it mixed up pretty good here. So that way when this dries, it will dry white and not clear. So yes, you could use this to texture mud, I guess, if you wanted to, by tinting it brown. So you could do that, use this to do some brown, do some mud. I think I'm going to need to make up a little bit more here before we're done, but that's alright. Okay. Now all you want to do is you just want to take your brush, get a little bit on your brush, and we're just going to start building it up around the wave here, or the pontoon here with the wave, because this will stay where you put it. It's not gonna, there's not a lot of shrinkage when it dries, is what I'm trying to say. And if you wanted to, like I did on Titanic, you can actually have it, you know, splashing up on the side here a little bit. Which I think I'm going to do right here in the front. Kind of build that up a little bit. Now for the top of your waves, just want to get a little, just use this a little bit at a time and just kind of come across the top. And this is what I was saying about building it up. You don't want to do a whole lot at one time. This is acrylic, so you can clean your brush with just hot water when you're done. See, now if you were doing this like it was coming off of a boat, like the bow of a boat or something like that, then you could actually, you know, trail it off like this. So this is how I would do the waves. Now like I said, we're not looking for anything really big or extravagant. Here's an example of what I was talking about, building it up And what I was doing was I was actually using a toothpick to apply this rather than the paintbrush. And you can see, let me get something to point with here. Let me see where everything's at here. Okay, sorry about that. But you can see, like right in here, where I've got the wave where it's just starting to roll over. And it, you know, so that's the kind of texture that you can get with the with this heavy gel. So, okay, just wanted to show that to you, give you a close-up of it. That's what I was talking about. Kind of give you a little bit of a side view there. Alrighty. So what I'll do is, instead of you guys just sitting here watching me do this again like paint drying or something, I will go around the bottom of the got a little bit much on there. Go around the bottom of the dock here, add a little bit of turbulence here, you know, a little bit splashing up on the side. Now if you get a little bit much on there, more than what you wanted to, you can always take a toothpick before it dries. I'm sorry, Q-tip, not toothpick, and just clean it up and just wipe it off. So what I'll do is I'll go around and I'll finish this, and then we'll put up the final and show you what it looks like when it's all done. Alrighty guys, thank you very much. Have a good day. Again, thank you very much for the great response on the shop cards, and we'll see you when the final comes around. Talk to you all later. Bye.